Welcome back to Life as We See It. And you know what we like to say? It's a walk through life. So today we're going to be talking about how to deal with imposter syndrome. And the reason why we're talking about this is because we know that it's something a lot of us experience. So you've noticed that your friends deal with it. I have noticed that I deal with it sometimes, a lot of times, to be honest. And before I set up the podcast and the page and everything, it was something I dealt with for a long time. So we're going to talk about it today, how to deal with it, and I just hope that we're able to learn together, because in Life as We See It, we do life together. We're a community that talks about experiences together and how to be better. So I can't wait for us to dive right in. But before we start, I would start with words of affirmation. I like for us to say this together. So the words of affirmation we would say, I am more than enough. I am more than enough. I believe in my capabilities. I believe in my capabilities. I am worth it. I am worth it. So the reason why I would say let's start with that is because that's how I deal with mine. And hopefully, as we talk about how to deal with imposter syndrome, we would learn, how to speak those words of affirmation to ourselves in the process. But the first thing when it comes to imposter syndrome is acknowledging that you do have imposter syndrome. So that is the first step when it comes to dealing with imposter syndrome. If you're not self-aware, if you do not know that you do have a problem, you can't deal with that problem. So if you do not know that this is what you're experiencing, you can't even, read more about it and learn about it and, look for ways to be better. So why I'm saying acknowledging and knowing that you experience it, we're going to define it, because in case you're listening and you're like, what's imposter syndrome? How do I know that I have imposter syndrome? When you know the definition, it could help you to know that you do have imposter syndrome. So the definition is it's feeling anxious and not experiencing success internally, despite being high performing in external objective ways. So inside of you, no matter how well you do, no matter how well you've achieved stuff, you just don't feel like you've achieved that. You don't feel like you've done enough. And that's why we said we're enough. You never feel like you've experienced success. Even if you've experienced success just 2 hours ago, in the next few hours, you're already feeling like a fraud. So it says it results in people feeling like a fraud or a phony and doubting their abilities. So that's why I also said I am more than capable. And that's why I speak to myself like that. You feel like you're a fraud. So you're in a position that you deserve, but you feel like you don't deserve that position. You feel like, oh my God, I'm going to be caught really soon, because I don't even know how I got here. I'm not good enough. Or the next person in the other office, in the other room, is better than I am. So that's why we said the first step in dealing with this is acknowledging that you do have it. So now you've learned the facts. You now know what imposter syndrome is, and you are aware. So now that you're aware and you know that this is something that you deal with, this is not you, you're not a fraud, you can now take on the next steps on how to deal with them. So this now leads me to the second step, which is sharing your feelings. So in life, as we said, we're a community of people. Speaking about this, talking about this, is also me sharing my feelings, because along the line I'll probably tell some personal stories if I remember. So you learn to share your feelings with your friends, learn to share your feelings with your family. There's something my eldest brother tells me time to time. Whenever I'm doubting myself, he just says things like, you know who you are, right? You do know who you are. I know who I am, but having someone say that to me and remind me, just makes me, it resets my memory. It resets whatever, I was dealing with, especially if I was doubting myself. And I just know that, okay, I know who I am. I know that I can take on this project. I know that I can do this. So you need people like that in your life. You need that kind of supportive community. And also be that supportive community to your friends and family as well. Sometimes they are also going to call you, or they're also going to be with you, and they would doubt themselves sometimes. So you need to remind them. The thing is, imposter syndrome is something that is in our head. So the next person doesn't actually see us that way. They see us as people who are great, who are doing wonderful. Like, people are impressed. People are literally impressed of the kind of things that you do. But you, on the other hand, me on the other hand, I'm not impressed. I just feel like I should have done better anyways, or I will do better. But how about knowing that I've done better now? Okay. Or how about knowing that all these abilities, all the skills that I have, I didn't have them like a year ago, but now I do have them. I've improved, So share your feelings with your friends and your family, your loved ones, okay? Yeah. And this leads me to celebrating your success. In as much as we say celebrate your success, we do not celebrate our success, because we often feel like what we've done doesn't deserve much celebration. Even when that thing was a challenge and we were able to overcome it, then we just look down on it. We look down on it and like it's nothing. When you've done things, no matter how little it is, please learn to celebrate it. Also, when people tell you that you've done amazing, accept it. You notice that people who deal with imposter syndrome, when they're told well done, they don't say thank you. Even if they say thank you, they immediately follow it by passing the job well done to other factors that does not include them. So you're said, congratulations, you really did that, and then the person is like, oh yeah, even not for the things that were provided. Meanwhile, 80% of the reason for that success was you. So why can't you accept that those words that were said to you? Why can't you accept that you did that? No matter how tiny your success is, no matter how tiny those steps are that you've achieved, or those goals that you've achieved, celebrate them, okay? Because every time you celebrate them, you're helping yourself. You're believing in yourself more. Do not celebrate them. Don't let them be short-lived, because a lot of times it's short-lived. It's like, okay, yeah. And the next time we're doubting ourselves already. So learn to celebrate your success. You can celebrate with other people, but if there's no one there to celebrate with you, celebrate by yourself. Be happy, that you've done this, and be like, okay, I can do more. Maybe this is my own imposter syndrome speaking, but still celebrate and just be happy of what you've done at the moment. Okay? All right. The next thing I'm going to talk about is letting go of perfectionism. Oh my God, I'm speaking to myself right now. I am one person that literally wants everything to be perfect. before I even do anything. This is an act of self-doubt. It just comes in another version. So you want to ensure that all the boxes are checked. If it's not checked, you're not going to embark on that project. If it's not checked, you don't deserve that position. I have read that most men would apply for jobs that they're not even qualified for. But women tend to wait until they are overqualified before they would apply for a certain position. So obviously we're not saying don't be qualified for something, but the time that it would take for you to be qualified or for you to check all the boxes, if you had gone ahead and you had gotten it, you would have improved in the job. So for instance, I've always wanted to set up my mic to speak and, set up the YouTube channel and everything. But I always wanted to have it right. I wanted to even go to a studio and have the studio where I go to. And okay, if I can't use the studio, then I need my camera, I need my mic, I need all my lights, everything set up. And then I need the perfect space before I can set up the YouTube channel, before I can have the podcast. But I had listened to people who spoke about how they literally started their podcast with their iPhone headset and they grew. So they have this huge platform now. And the reason that they were able to do that was because they didn't hold back. So you have all the skills, you're capable of that project, of doing that project or being in that position where you're like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's good because that's the thing, you're a high achiever, so you always want to do everything right before you can go to the next thing. But waiting to have everything perfect is the reason why I would say you do have imposter syndrome. And if you can let go of that, then that's one way that you can deal with imposter syndrome. If you can let go of perfectionism, it also would be that you're being kind to yourself. So learn to be kind and be compassionate to yourself. Most times we are hard on ourselves, we're so hard on ourselves, and we tend to be kinder to other people or give other people more grace than we give ourselves. So we need to learn to give ourselves more grace, okay? No matter what it is, no matter the outcome of something, it didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. Yeah, be kind to yourself. Look at it as, a learning platform or a way that you can be better. Be kind to yourself. If you're kind to yourself, really, you would be able to, let go of imposter syndrome because you're going to believe in yourself more, basically. Yeah, you will. So that's just one thing. Then let's talk about sharing your failures and accepting your failures. If you failed at something, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Don't be hard on yourself. So everything is just intertwined with each other. Don't be hard on yourself. It's okay to fail. Because we're so scared of failing, that's why we do have imposter syndrome. So if you can be aware that it's okay to fail. If I fail at something, then I have learned how not to do that thing. I have learned a lot of things. Not trying at all, you wouldn't learn. But when you try, you will learn so much. Share your failures with your friends the same way that you will share your feelings with your friends, okay? With your family as well. And if you have a supportive community, then they would be able to talk about it with you and help you go through it. We're so scared of failure. We don't want to try new things because we're scared of failing. It's okay. I literally tell myself, it's okay. I tell my nephew that all the time. Because even as a kid, I noticed that he would not want to try something because he's scared of failing that thing. So I'm like, try it. And then when he tries it, he actually does well. So you see, if you don't even try, you wouldn't even know how well you would have done. And that's what I would tell him. Even as adults, if we don't try it, we wouldn't know how well we would have done. So this is now what leads me to mindfulness. How to deal with imposter syndrome. You have to practice mindfulness. I practice mindfulness in almost everything, because no matter how positive you think you are, negative thoughts will always try to come in sometimes. So you have to say to yourself, I am more than enough. I am more than capable of doing this thing. Okay? I deserve to be in that position. I made a mistake and I will be better. I made a mistake or I failed at something, I will improve. Most successful people tried a lot of things and they failed at it. And because they kept trying and failing and they didn't care about that, they became successful at one thing or the other. And then we're known for that. But if you read, and then they're known for that rather. But if you read their story, you will see that they had tried other things as well. So just believe in yourself. Know that you're more than capable. Imposter syndrome is not a bad thing. It just shows that you're someone who is a high achiever. Imposter syndrome is something that comes especially when we're about to take that big leap of faith. It comes when you're about to get the new job, you're about to start a new job, you're about to be you're about to be promoted. So amongst everybody, you are the chosen one to be promoted, but somehow you think that you shouldn't have been, and you're gonna, fail at that thing. Despite all the training that you've had, despite all your experiences, you're gonna fail at that thing. But you're not. You find out that you never fail at that stuff. And even if you do, it's fine. So I just decided to talk about it today because before I set up this podcast, like I said, I really struggled with it. I wanted it to be perfect. I'm like, am I going to have ideas? But in every single day of our life, things happen and these are literally topics. And then I was like, I'm just going to go for it. So that's why I decided to talk about it today first, because it's something that I also experienced. And I just hope that you've learned one or two things. So there might be areas where how to deal with it might have been the issue that you've had. For me, it was the perfectionism side of it. And also learning to celebrate my success. I've achieved things that I just looked down on and just like, okay, when I do this one, then I'll be happy, or I would feel like I've done something. But it just never ends. It just never ends really. But at least I know that is something that I deal with, and I, consciously practice mindfulness. So guys, we're going to close today's episode by saying to ourselves again, I am enough. I am worth it. I am more than capable. I deserve this success. I deserve this platform. I believe in my skills. I believe in my abilities. I can do all things as long as I believe. I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and I'm looking forward to having you guys on the next episode. And don't forget that this is life as we see it, and we like to call it a walk through life. Bye. Love you guys.